Meanwhile, in stately Wayne Manor...
Holy overheating, Batman! Another Superhero Saturday starts right now. Welcome back to Brickscale Studio. My name is Jeff. Thank you so much for joining me on another Superhero Saturday where we build the 1966 classic Batmobile. So I mentioned overheating in the intro. We're continuing work on the radiator and we're going to get that attached to the car. And we're also going to be working on the air filter in this episode. Also, stay tuned to the end for some news on this build. We're going to be shifting gears for the next few weeks, so I'll have all the details at the end, but let's get into the build.
And in the Batcave, deep below stately Wayne Manor...
All right, here we are at issue 49. So here is the magazine. And then it looks like we're going to continue working on the radiator, which we started in the last episode. And then I believe, yes, we will be mounting it to the car along with some hoses. And we will be connecting a hose from way back in issue 11. So that'll be cool. All right, and that's what we end up with. So here are the parts for issue 49. All right, I'm just going to leave those in the tray. Okay, so here is our radiator that we worked on last episode. So the first thing we're going to do is grab... This is the radiator support. And this is going to go just like so, and it's going to sit right on top of this. Actually, it's going to go like this. And we are going to attach that with some AP screws. All right. And we want to turn that over, and we want to take this piece and this piece along with this overflow hose. I'm going to take the overflow hose and just attach it right like so. And then this piece will push right on top, and it is sort of a D-shaped, so it can only go on one way, just like so. And then same thing, we're going to push this right on top of the radiator, and that just clips right in. And then this is an overflow hose, so it is just going to come down and hang down the side there. It doesn't ask us to attach it to anything. Alright, so let me set this aside for a second, and then we are going to bring over this pipe. So there are two sort of pipes here, and we want the one with like the 90-degree turn in it. This is called the lower radiator hose. So I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to bring over the car. And this has us moving this way. Okay, so this might be a little difficult to see. Alright, hopefully this isn't too shaky. But this is where we need to attach that pipe, right here. Okay, I think I got it, and hopefully it will stay there while I attach the radiator. Okay, so that was a little crazy. Now we want to take the radiator. Okay, so the pipe we just put on is right here at the bottom of the radiator. And then the two holes here These two holes here are where we're going to attach the screws to affix the radiator. All right, now we need these two pieces here. We need this hose right here. And that's going to slip on there, just like so. And then this is going to push on just like that. And that is going to sit on there just like so. Now we want to take this piece, which I'm assuming they're going to call the upper radiator hose. Yes. So it is going to go just like so. Here. And there, just like so. All right, and then the last thing we want to do is bring up, there is a little, and again, this is going to be tough to see. There is a little silver hose here, and this is going to come up through here. Okay, so this hose feeds up from the bottom, and it's going to go right on this little nub here. I'm going to glue that because that little lug that it sits on is super short, so I don't think... Yeah, so let me just put a little dab of glue on there. All right. Okay, and that is it for issue 49. All right, so hopefully this isn't too shaky. I'm doing this handheld with my phone. It's difficult to get the main camera into these tight spaces. So basically what we did, we attached the radiator, we attached this lower hose, we attached this upper hose, and then we attached this tube from the fuel pump up here to the carburetor. So hopefully I got the extra footage so that you can see what is going on there, because it is tough to get down in these engine components and with the camera and everything. And so that is issue 49. So here is issue 50. Magazine. And then here we are getting parts for the air filter. And then we have some pipes. So we're going to be assembling that, and then we're going to be attaching it to the car. All right, and we will end up like that. So here are the parts for issue 50. All right, so let's see. This is the air filter pipe part B. See, this is pipe part A. And this is part C. And then, of course, we have the air filter lid, and then the bolt. So I was just looking in here to see if these were stamped A, B, or C, and I don't see anything in there. So I'm just going by the illustrations in the manual here. All right, so the first thing we want to do is take this piece, and that is going to go on just like so. But this is going to be attached with, let's see, an AP screw. And then this piece is going to go over the top, like so. And that's going to be attached also with some AP screws. And there's the other, just like so. And then, of course, this piece So this is just a push to fit. No screws, and it does not say to glue it either. So yeah, that just snaps together like so. And then let me set these aside really quick. We're going to bring the car back, and then this is going to go right over here like so. And that's going on again with AP screws. Okay. And then we want to put the top on, and again, this is not asking for glue or anything. And this should line up. All right. It can only go on one way, so there we go. And then we're just going to put this little bolt right there like so. Okay. So that is the end of issue 50. And that's the end of this episode. So let's switch over to the Lego side. All right, here we are on the Lego side. And remember, last episode we put the bat phone in, so that was pretty cool. So today we're going to be doing steps 145 to 150. Okay, so that is it for the Lego side. So it looks like we concentrated up here, and we installed, and actually back here a little bit, we installed the pedals. Looks like we got brake, clutch, and gas pedal, and a little gear shifter. And then we installed the bat rays. Okay, let's recap what we have done. So this is the Lego version. And then here we have the scale model version. So for the Lego version, we attached a gear shifter and some pedals here, and then we completed the bat rays. And then for the scale model, we attached the radiator that we built in the last episode, and then we attached some piping and tubing, and then we also attached the air filter. So that is it for this episode. Well, my goodness, that was a fussy build this week with that radiator and those pipes, trying to maneuver in those tight spaces. Hopefully that handheld video isn't too shaky. I tried to capture it as best as I could. But before we get into our update, let's do a little progress report. Okay, so for the scale model, we completed 14 steps and used 14 parts. And for the Lego side, we completed 6 steps and used 36 parts. So total to date for the scale model, 260 steps and 298 parts. And for the Lego model, 322 steps and 824 parts. All right, so chugging right along there. So now for our little announcement. So I'm not sure if I mentioned it in a previous episode, but if you follow any other builders, you probably already know, but Fanhome is running into some logistic issues. We had one issue back in November where we sort of had to preempt the build for a week because we didn't have parts, and we are unfortunately in that same situation again. I am missing an entire pack, pack 11, which should have arrived sometime at the end of February, first part of March, I believe, and it has still not arrived. They have sent some additional, they sent me part of pack 12, and they're sending me pack 13 as we speak. However, because of the nature of these builds, it's pretty much sequential, so I can't really do anything until I have pack 11. So I have no idea when that's going to be. I've received an updated email that just says, we're still out of the parts. We'll keep you updated. So today's episode is the last episode I have parts for. So next week we will be taking a look at the River Steamboat. I have mentioned that in a couple of other videos, and mentioned that was going to be coming up in the next few weeks. So next week is the day for that, next Saturday. And then after that, I'm not really sure. We will figure it out as we go. I'm sure there'll be I have some other Lego sets in my backlog that we can put together and check out, or, maybe we'll do some other vlogs or something like that, but we will figure it out and I will keep you updated on those parts. But until then, happy building, take care, be kind to each other, and I will see you real soon.